So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your persuasive speech assignment because this is a really big deal. I mean, it's 15% of your grade, and it is the longest speech that you're ever going to give. It is 7 minutes, which basically means it's from 6 minutes and 30 seconds to 7 minutes and 30 seconds. If you go to the helpful resources folder, you'll find a persuasive speech assignment, and in there you'll find a lot of good tips. But basically, I just wanted to walk through this with you and show you some things. One of the things is this is not just a persuasive speech, it is also a goal to move people to action. So you actually want to get someone to do something. You actually want to get people to write to their congressman, to go out and vote, to agree that they should buy their dogs or cats from the shelter, to not smoke in public, all different kinds of things, to vote a certain way, to make sure that they are recycling. You want to actually have them do something. One of my favorite topics that I like to use is CASA. CASA stands for Court-Appointed Special Advocates, and I am a very big proponent of this organization. Basically, what this organization does is it gets people to volunteer, and then you actually go and you have 1 or 2 foster children, and you become their voice. You actually go to court for them, you do different things for them, you are their way through the legal system, and you stay with them. It is a big deal. The other thing that you need to know about your speech is that your speech should be controversial. When I say controversial, what I mean about that is that it shouldn't be something that people are just ready to do. Now you might ask yourself, what is so controversial about CASA? Well, CASA takes a long time to actually learn how to do. You have to actually go to class for about 70 hours, and then of course you have to spend time with the person that you're assigned to. Now, the controversial thing about this is that a lot of us are busy. We're going to school, we're doing different things, and we just don't have time to actually volunteer for CASA. As a matter of fact, it's very true that I'm one of those people. What happens is that I've been looking at this organization for about 7 years, and I have yet to actually really volunteer. But if I was going to do a persuasive speech to call you to action, I would do it on the topic of CASA. Okay, so if you go through this, it tells you different things about what your speech should be about. I'd like to see enthusiasm. I want to see your passion for this persuasive speech. But the other thing that I want to see is a limited use of note cards. So you should use no more than 3 note cards, and your entire speech should not be written on it. Let's go on and let me go to the actual outline of the speech. So if you look up here, we're in helpful resources, major assignments, and then I'm going to go to persuasive speech and back to that folder. And then what I'm going to pull up is the actual assignment, I think. I'm hoping. Of course, this is when I call this the wheel of death. This is when the wheel keeps turning and it's not going to let me in right away. So we have to wait for a few moments. I really, really want you to do the outline with the same headings that you see. The reason that I'm actually talking to you about this today is because I find that some people get stuck in their outline and they don't really understand how to do it. So I want to walk you through this if the wheel of death ever goes away. Thank you. Basically, let's go to persuasive speech format. Persuasive speech format is going to tell us exactly how to do this speech. Okay, if you look here, it says motivational speech. These things right here, 1, 2, 3, all the way before you get to Roman numeral 1, these are never actually said out loud. You don't start out and say, oh, my general purpose is, my specific purpose is. Basically, this is just to organize you. I do want this on your outline, but it's not something that you're actually going to say. So it tells you that the specific purpose starts like this. By the end of my speech, I want my classmates to join CASA, or to motivate my classmates to join CASA. Okay, that would be your purpose. I want to actually actuate or move you to action, motivate you to do something. My thesis statement is the main statement of my actual speech. I'm going to ask you today to join me in what might be the most heartbreaking and rewarding experience of your life, that of volunteering for CASA. That could be my thesis statement. If you look down here, you're also going to see the introduction. Now the introduction, ladies and gentlemen, has 5 main things in it. It has the attention getter, which I don't want to be a question. I would like for your attention getter to be, it could be a startling statement, a statistic, or something else. Then you have significance, and you'll actually label it significance. You won't say it, but you'll label it on your outline. I want you to tell us what's in it for us. Why should we care? Why should I care about CASA? Well, maybe I have a statistic that says 5,000 children in Harris County are in the foster care system, and only about 200 of those children actually have a voice in the system. And I would actually show you a site telling you that. Credibility. Why are you credible? In other words, what makes us want to listen to you? Well, I've never volunteered for CASA, but one thing I can tell you is that I know a lot of people who have volunteered, and I also have researched it quite a bit. I've been looking at it, like I said, for 7 years, so it's about time I actually did something, but I know quite a bit about it. Once again, your central idea is the same thing as your thesis. So your thesis statement is, what's your speech about? So I say, I'm going to ask you to join me in what might be the most heartbreaking yet rewarding experience that you ever have, that of volunteering for CASA. All right, so now we're at E, and we're still in the introduction. Remember, the introduction only takes up 10 to 15% of your entire speech. So your introduction in a 7-minute speech should be 70 seconds to maybe 85 seconds. The preview statement, even though this says 1, 2, 3, is actually put as a sentence. So what I would basically say is, today I'm going to tell you how we need more volunteers for the CASA program because there are too many foster care children in the system. Also, how volunteering for CASA can change a child's life. And lastly, how if you do volunteer for CASA, you will see that it impacts someone forever. Okay, so those are my 3 main points. So then we go down, and your Roman numeral 2 is your need step, or basically what's the problem. What is the problem? What is the problem with the CASA system? Well, it's not one of the problems is that there's not enough volunteers for the CASA system. But the other problem is that there are too many foster care kids that do not have a voice in the system. And if you have foster care kids that don't have a voice, they can end up on drugs. They can end up back with a family who abused them in the first place. There's all kinds of things that can happen. Do I want you to go down here and answer every one of these questions? No, I don't. What I want you to do is use your Roman numeral to talk about your need and then go into your A, B, C, D, and so on. Also, make sure that your sentence is your outline is a full sentence outline. Then we get down here to the transition. You're going from your need step to your satisfaction. Okay, so basically I might say something like, although there are so many children who need help in the foster care system, there is an organization that actually has been proven to help them. And I go into my solution, which is join CASA. So this, in my satisfaction, is where I'm going to tell you what a wonderful organization CASA is and how it works. This is where I give you the nuts and bolts about CASA. Do I get this information from Cindy Stoker? No. I get this information from research. So I might say, according to the government document on domestic violence, CASA is an organization that really works. You know, you have to use your sources. I want you to have at least 3 sources. I think that somewhere it says 5, but I really only need 3 sources from you. Okay? So, basically, you have your solution and your satisfaction step, and then you have what's called a visualization step. The visualization step is where you are visualizing what it's going to be like in the future, and you can do it one of 3 ways. You can say, hey, this is the good things that are going to happen if we actually have more people join CASA. These are the bad things that are going to happen if we don't have more people join CASA. Or I can do both positive and negative. What I would probably do is give you some examples of some actual cases where children have been positively impacted because their CASA volunteer had a voice in the system for them. My conclusion is basically my summary. I'm going to tell you something like, so now that you've seen that we have too many foster care children in the system, and that CASA can be one of the solutions for those foster care kids, and that if we join CASA, then you'll see some kids' lives impacted for the rest of their lives. You can see what a great organization this is. And the way that you want to end this is you want to call your people out. You want to say, so please please go to this website or go to this organization and call CASA. It might seem like a lot of hours, but how can you ever put the price, on a child's life? Okay, I hope that this helps somewhat and it doesn't overwhelm you. I just kind of wanted you to see how you would go about doing this. Good luck.